Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got the J, which is a good scoring tile. No bingo on this rack, but I have decent vowels for playing the J. With a floating B, I would have Boert G, but that's the only 8-letter bingo I can see. JOE would leave a decent rack leave of right. No B, what a shame. So pot G through the P doesn't score very much and wrecks the rack. What about the C? Ejector, but no bingo. Okay, so does Joe play? Well, it does, but for not very much. Well, if I play it here, it gets slightly more, 21 points. And I do like this rack leave. One problem with Joe is that it takes an S at the front, so I am creating a bingo lane. But even taking that into account, I think this is best. I'm not seeing any plays which get the J tripled. Okay, so I'm going with this. And I have fritter. So, will that play? Does it play currently? Not sure it does. That's a shame. C is a bit of a blocky tile. The only 2-letter C play is CH. Fritter doesn't play in row J. Does fritter have an anagram? Don't think so. Now, how about the floating C? Not seeing anything through that. Joe takes an S and a Y after it. The Y unlikely to be useful because that would require I and Y together. So, if I can't bingo, what am I looking to do? Play the F for score? Sort out the duplicates. Well, opponent's taken out column 4 with Bund. Die takes nothing in front, so this is super blocky. And fritter doesn't play in row J, so no bingo for me here. Through an E, I would have had frettier. So, what to do? Well, I'm really hampered here. B takes nothing in front that I have. Die takes nothing. Pyaik takes nothing. Nye doesn't take anything I have. And I don't have any vowel for going underneath the J. So I think overall, I think this is my only option. Jitter for 26. Takes an S and a Y, wrecks the rack, retains the F. But I don't think I can do anything about any of that. And a pretty grim rack. Just 2 points between us. Grim in terms of vowel consonant balance and bingo likelihood, but some potential for score with F, K and W. So 56 for opponent, good score for him. Just looking in row N to see if I have anything parallel to doxes, and I'm not seeing anything. So, how about this floating vowel? I could play Welkie, which sorts out the duplicate L and plays off 2 of my high-scoring tiles. Kuhl is good, but that's not better than Welkie, because it doesn't get doubled. Not seeing anything onto the X or onto the O. So, just looking at this E for a bingo, have fell as a component part of a word, but I'm not seeing anything. So this is what I'm thinking of. Welkie for 24, W not too dangerous. This really doesn't offer very much for opponent, so hopefully his scoring will slow down. And I draw consonants and I trail, so bit of a grim position. I do have a scoring tile in the F, Bund was a great play by opponent, forcing me into playing jitter, off which he managed to score really well. So I do have cleft in column 9, which sorts the rack out and leaves NRT, which is pretty decent. I need to open the board up, and cleft does that. It provides a floating E. Yeah, an opponent quite sensibly doesn't want to open the board up because he is winning and he can see that the board is tight. Now, of course, cleft will take out row J as a 7-letter lane and take out the floating T's. But I can't see any other way of developing the board, Bund and Payek together, really take out the entirety of the top half of the board. So I'm going to have to take a bit of a score sacrifice here over what I would hope to achieve with a view to opening the board. And I have the Z and a couple of vowels, which is an improvement. Now, column 1 is available for 6 or 7-letter plays ending vowel W. I don't have one of those. I do have res to play the Z, although that is counterproductive in terms of opening the board up because it takes nothing after it. I have frozen in row K, which definitely opens the board up. Still 2 blanks to come. Uppo takes an N, which I have, so do I have any Z something something IN plays? No, I do not. What else is available? I don't think Zorb is good, I think it's just Zorbing. Now, do I have a play down the bottom in column 8, beginning with E? Well, not that plays the Z, and given how bingoey the rest of the rack is, I do want to play the Z to increase my chances of bingoing and to score. I don't know of any extensions to doxes. I suspect there are none. Row N, a bingo lane for bingos beginning with R or AR. There could be an 8-letter bingo with the right floater. Not seeing what that might be. A 9-letter play, I think, would be Trazodone. Slight doubt about that. Okay, so opponent, again, playing quite cautiously, taking out these floaters, taking out this triple word square. But, as often the case, very hard to completely close the board down, and he has created a lane in column 11. So, what can I do with my Z? Well, I could play Z. I also have zoned, but that creates an easy lane for opponent to score with the Z. Tis is good. And Ute. No, I'm not seeing a play which uses tis. If I had an A, I could play Zar rather. So, this is what I'm looking at. Z for 46, decent score. I have the O for going next to the Z. Yeah, I am going with this. Am I? I can play Zendo, which is going to be better. Yeah, 54 points. Well, had I have played Z, I might have been closer to a bingo. All these bingo-y tiles, but they're duplicates, and I have no 7-letter bingo on my rack. I do have an R for Ewer. Tid takes nothing in front, so this triple word square is still unavailable. I have renew in column 1, but that's one square short of the triple word square. And I have only 1 point tiles. But my opponent's not out of sight, not yet. Just 16 points between us. ZE is good. So I may be able to score off the Z, which is the ideal situation when you have 1 point tiles. So I have tenor. Well, opponent's gone there. I can play Hern, which sorts out all of the duplicates. I don't have anything which goes after ZO. And Rent is a pretty decent 4-letter set. And the board is slightly forked. There's a column 11 bingo lane, and there are also the floating R and N. So Hern for 21. Well, looks close to a bingo. I'm not seeing a 7 here. Portmen possibly, but that doesn't play. Wow, great bingo by opponent. Do I have a bingo of my own? What about this floating O? No, not seeing anything there. So, I can play trump for 40, decent score, providing a decent floater in the R. Okay, rack leave, and I'm not seeing anything better. Well, I had a vowel shortage towards the beginning of the game. I'm now getting a vowel surfeit. 50 points between opponent and myself. I may be able to offload some vowels, bottom right, if opponent doesn't go there. How might I do that? Well, I have ane, keeping UN. Opponent doesn't go there, but scores 30 points. That's irksome. Now, is there definitely no bingo onto a T or an R? I don't think there is. Is there a way of playing off the U? Well, there is, but it doesn't get tripled. And it leaves 3 vowels rather than UN, so I think ane is better. Only 2 E's to come. Wow. Let me count the remaining vowels. 15 out of 32, so it's a balanced bag. And the E is useful for column 11. Let me see what Orne scores. Only 12 points, and it does take an S, so if opponent's got an S, that's very easy. Oh, it's not 3 vowels, it's quite a nice 3-letter set. So what's opponent done? He's played off 7 tiles, and then 3 more. Has he managed to avoid all the S's? This feels pretty foolish. 12 minutes on my clock. So I'm looking to play off, well, Orne, I guess, but I don't want to play in column 11 because then I'm taking out a decent bingo lane. I think I am going to go with ane for 23. And I am providing a bingo lane in row O, which is good since I trail. Wow, I draw the second blank, so there is hope. But I'm not bingoing this turn with 2 U's. Am I sure about that? I do have the UN prefix, which takes out one of the U's. Guanaco is only 1 U. Okay, column 11 remains available, as does row O. Gosh, I'm close to ungulate. What can I do here? Close to unclaw. Still one U to come. And the Q. Interesting. And I trail by 70, so I'm a bingo behind. I'm minded to leave this E alone. And column 11 alone. How about creating new lanes in the left of the board? So MI takes an A. So I could play Guana. No, I don't have two A's. I can play Guan for 14, keeping CU. I have a slight doubt about this. I think it's good. I think this is okay because it's quite inviting to play in row H, and then that creates a couple of new floaters. Jewett is good. So, and all of my consonants go next to AT. So AGUL, ACUL, ANUL. 14 points. Am I going with this? Painful. It would be nice to get rid of both. 9 minutes on my clock and only 17 tiles left, so let me give this a little bit more thought. I hope I'm not missing a bingo onto this E. So I was considering Guan. I do need to split up C and G. I am going with this. Well, not great. Not great. This feels a long way from a bingo. Y and U are the problem tiles, and no good vowels. And by a good vowel, I mean A and E, which are the two most bingo-y. And I don't think there's a bingo onto this E. I have Yug in row H, which leaves a pretty decent 5-letter set. Although YU not the best floaters. I also have Orgy in that spot. Slightly problematic with another U to come, but the U could be a good thing if I draw the Q. And Orgy is going to outscore Yug. So just 60 points between us, so the game is not over, and I am sitting on the blank. I think opponent must be favourite. But there's hope. I have Yogi in row H, which doesn't score as much as Orgy. Quite a few, or a few, bingo blockers, or non-bingo-y tiles, I mean, with B, F and Q. But the remaining tiles are fairly bingo-y. The S is not massively useful because there aren't any 7-letter lanes for bingos ending in S. Great. Opponent takes a score sacrifice, or a low score rather. I don't know if it's a sacrifice, but a low score to take out row O. And in the meantime, I can play Orgy for 36. Wow, this looks close to a bingo, dare I say it. Now, do I have Skyolus through the O? I think I may do, with the blank as an O. What about column 11? No, I have Sluices as a 7 with the blank as an E, but as mentioned, no lanes. Row O is still a bingo lane for bingos ending AE, and there will be quite a few 9s which end in that fashion. out. Ah, fantastic. Opponent has not taken out this O. This is only going to be a face value bingo, although the C will get doubled. And the play may not be good. 8 minutes on my clock. 5 tiles in the bag, so this is my only bingo if it's good. Quart takes an A in front, so this rack with the blank as an A. Clusiers. Clusiers. Good grief. Clusiers for 80. Bang! There was a bingo with the blank as an A. Fantastic. Now I lead by 15 points. And opponent's got a fairly bingo-y set, but the F isn't bingo-y. Fineries doesn't play. Fantastic. Am I going to be able to go out with Trigo, though? Trigo is a good 5-letter word. But is there anywhere for it? If not, opponent's going to have 2 turns, and I'm only going to have 1, and there's only a 15-point gap. Gosh. Not too many places to look for. And opponent doesn't bingo, that's good. But he does score 35 points. 7 minutes on my clock. He leads by 20. He's got EIN. So he can play Neif. Does he have a second out? He has Oni, so he certainly can go out. He's not going to score very much. But he's got this 20-point lead. I think if I can go out, well, that may be enough, even if I can go out. Supposing I could go out through this O, I'd get about 8 points. That wouldn't be enough. So 6 on countback, 356. I need 14 to draw. Column 8 not available, not enough spaces. 15 to draw. Okay. Is this enough? 12, and it's not. Griot is an anagram, but I don't have anything which goes in front of Uppo. Griot and Trigo. Nothing goes in front of Aqua or in front of C, so there's a maximum of 4 spaces there. Any other spots? Tids takes nothing in front of it. Trigo doesn't get the G doubled. Anything through the O ending in W? No. 5 minutes on my clock. Low takes nothing in front. Is there a way of getting value from the Q? Don't think so. Okay, so Clusius gave me massive hope, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Opponent knew what 5 tiles I had when he played Seif. Do I have a play onto the F? No. Weight takes an E, but nothing else that I've got. I have Grout in column 8, 18 points. Then opponent plays and wins. So I think this is it. I can't win. Trigo for 12. And the final score, 368 for me, 370 for my opponent, a winning margin of 2 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, just 2 points. That is so close. It was opponent to go first. He played Payek. And I play Joe for 21, and I think that looks fine. I felt optimistic with this rack lead that I might be bingoing. Missed bingo, disbound, and Joe's. Okay, opponent plays Bund, and now I have a bingo fritter, but nowhere for it. And this felt painful because the score wasn't fantastic. I was wrecking a bingo rack, and I was gifting spots or floaters for opponent and hotspots. But what else was available? Possibly Frib, D5. Yeah, maybe Frib, ERTT. Has the bare bones of a bingo rack, and Frib doesn't offer terribly much, whereas Jitter offers a ton of bingo floaters and wrecks my rack. Opponent's rack plays Doxes for 56, so what would he have had after Frib? Nothing huge. Okay. Now, my rack has massively deteriorated. L1, Welked. Interesting. So I play Welk for 24, and I could have played the identical tiles one square higher up, Welked, for 32 points, 8 points difference. Now, opponent's rack, and he's got the blank, plays Devo, and I'm struggling with consonants. And look at this, nothing over 20. What do? I play Cleft for 11. And what about these options here? J2, Elfin. Yeah, possibly better. That is creating a lane for bingos ending in E. Elfin takes nothing in front, so I think Elfin might have been a better play despite the duplicate T. But 11 points for Cleft is not a million miles off the pace and does have some strategic merit. Opponent's rack plays Weight. And now I have Zendo for 54, but look at this, there was a Tiz play, Zo, keeping Rent, and Rent is a much better rack lead than RT, so DZO was the play. Opponent's rack. Wow, Rough Hue for 108, F1, onto this W. That would have been an amazing spot. This does not look like a bingo rack, but it was there. Opponent plays Row, and I play Hearn, which looks fine. And now opponent does bingo. Good spot, overhang. But hangover, also available in the same column, but higher up, getting doubled for more points. Now I trail by 90. No bingo here, and I play Tromp for 40. Opponent's rack plays Make. And I now trail by 80, and I have vowels. So Aine was my play, and that looks fine. These other rack leaves look pretty problematic in terms of bingo potential, and there was a blank to play for. Now opponent also suffering with vowels, plays Arl. And this is my rack with 2 U's, so J2 Cumin. Quite nice, 25 points, but G and U together not bingo-y, so what do? I play Guan for 14, and this is another case of taking a score sacrifice for partly strategic reasons. I am sorting the rack out, getting rid of G and U, but I'm creating a bingo lane in column 2, and I'm creating a hotspot in row H, whichever of us takes that will provide floaters. Now, opponent's rack plays BA. What could he have done? He could have played Basque, B11. Yeah, interesting. Okay, and now my rack. And I play Orgy for 36, and that looks fine. But L12, you're interesting. Okay, well, Yaw doesn't create bingo lanes, and Orgy does. Score's pretty much the same, but Orgy retains the U, which is a serious demerit. And there was a bingo lane in column 2 without Orgy, because G takes a U and an A in front. Interesting. Now, opponent's rack plays Qua, but could have played Queener. which doesn't take a front hook. And now this is my rack, and I have Clusius for 80. Sciolus was the other bingo I spotted, but what was also available, B7. Ossicula, well, I don't know that. And then D1. More bingos through this O of Leucosis, Luscious, and Luscious. So I did find the best bingo, and I did briefly take the lead. No bingo for opponent, plays safe. Now, moment of truth. I need 14 points to draw, and it was not available. There was only one outplay, and it was Trigo for 12. And none of the other plays would have won, because whatever I'd have played, opponent could have gone out with EIN. So Trigo was best at the end. So, what a game. Absolutely. Wow, it's difficult to find the words to describe that game, because Clusius obviously brought me right back in at the end, and then it was just luck, partly luck as to what the remaining tiles were and what the opportunities were on the board. So it was an exciting finish, and I'm reasonably happy with plays like Orgy and Ane. I think the real problematic play was Jitter, and I think Frib would have been better. And it's hard to know how much weight should be placed on that as an error, because obviously the options available from Jitter are available to both players. Opponent just has first shot at them, so it's not automatically a disaster. But certainly in this case, opponent was able to benefit with Doxes establishing a lead on a fairly tight board, and he held on to the lead until Clusius, but that did give me hope. But unfortunately for me, it wasn't quite enough to get over the line, and opponent won by 2 points. So super exciting stuff. Many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.